For my third hour-alone challenge for the LCTE 2017, I decided to head down to the market in downtown Maastricht to see if I could potentially communicate using basic Dutch phrases with the sellers. These sellers were selling things from t-shirts to textiles to phone cases and buttons and basically anything you could think of. Now, this made for a multitude of odd conversations and people watching, but it was very interesting to say the least. In all honesty, this assignment was not as easy as I had hoped. Beforehand, I had looked up phrases that I wanted to use, and these pretty much just revolved around money or like basic polite phrases. So it was things like, how much does this cost? Yes, please. No, thank you. Stuff like that. This was a challenging task for me because I don't memorize things well, so I had to practice a lot beforehand. And on top of that, I ended up forgetting most of the things that I had practiced. All the words got jumbled up in my head once I actually started to speak them. So sometimes they just were skipped over or out of order, and I think that might have caused some issues, but in all honesty, it ended up basically being a little bit of a flop, but even attempting to push myself that far made me proud of myself. Now, I think this is a task that everyone should attempt to do because transactions and buying things is such an important part of being immersed in the culture somewhere. I wanted to push myself to do it because it was an attempt to become more in tune with the Dutch culture as I learned the language. One main thing I learned about the world from this challenge was that people in Europe tend to be very good at communicating despite language barriers. I've noticed this also as I've walked around the various places we've been, whether it be here in the Netherlands or Germany or in Belgium. English is basically known by everyone. When I mixed up the order of some of the phrases or ended up completely skipping some words, the sellers were still able to communicate with me. This makes me wonder why it's so rare to find people in the United States that speak more than just English. I'm assuming that it's because of the close proximity of countries here, so they've kind of grown up being exposed to various languages. But I started learning Spanish when I was in kindergarten, and I still can't speak it more than the colors or numbers. One main thing I learned about myself is that I need to be able to go with the flow more. Not having a set plan really freaks me out, so I went into this challenge with these specific phrases memorized. Instead, these were not super helpful because I didn't consider how to understand their responses. Not my smartest move. This made for some awkward encounters as I tried to guess what they'd said. In particular, I once asked how much something cost, and I couldn't hear his response. I wasn't sure if the Dutch used the phrase what or pardon or anything along those lines, so I just kind of looked at him and nodded and acted like I understood, but I really didn't. This awkwardness made me feel uncomfortable, but in the end I realized that some of the best opportunities do come from being outside of your comfort zone. Even coming on this trip was a big push for me, so being able to do this on my own showed that I'm really growing as a person. From completing this hour-alone challenge, I became interested in looking into various national languages in the EU and why so many people are able to speak so many different languages here. It really amazes me how much of a difference there is between here and the United States with regard to our language capabilities. Overall, this challenge has opened my eyes to the fact that the United States may really be behind in relation to the rest of the world. English is a commonly known language, but it kind of limits our ability to travel and communicate with others when it's all that we can speak fluently. Here, they can switch to different languages without hesitation, which makes it easy to move around and communicate with others. This challenge helped me to see that I should look into learning another language, not only just to benefit myself, but also to benefit those around me if I end up teaching in a school that is multilingual or living in another country to teach. Thank you.